Here I am going to explain one AWT program. Here I have done event handling also. Here the first one is AWT package, AWT event package. AWT package, this is required for all the objects. Means suppose you want multiple components. For that component you have to just import AWT package. For event handling you have to import this package specially because this event is a sub package. That's why compulsory we have to import this sub package also. For event handling only you have to do this. If you don't want to handle any event, you want to just display the graphical user interface, then it is not needed. Okay, but normally whenever there is a graphical user interface, there is event. Okay, event is nothing but any action, whatever you are doing. Suppose you are clicking any button, that is nothing but an event. If you are just pressing that mouse, if you are just pressing key on keyboard, that is again an event. Just you are closing window. Window means whatever the frame available, that is having three options like minimize, maximize and close. If you are closing that window, then what is to be executed, that also you have to write. Then only after the user clicks on that close button, then only that window will get closed. Here whenever we want to create any graphical user interface, we have to just create a class which extends frame class. Here you can also extend that class using applet as a base class. Just create one class which extends frame class, means here you are just creating a frame and inside that you can put multiple components. Frame is again a container. Okay, it is again container, it is again a component also, means inside one frame you can put one more frame also. But here we are not considering that thing. Here we will just create one frame and we will put multiple components on that as per our requirement. The next point is whenever we are creating any frame, then you can set layout of that frame, is how the components will get displayed. Normally there are multiple types of layout like flow layout, grid layout. In flow layout what happens? See, here we have written like add. Means we are just putting multiple objects onto that frame. Whenever we write like this, automatically first app name will be put, then L name, then next FN. In this way, continuously in one flow all the objects will be placed if the layout is flow layout. Grid layout means it will just place objects like any tabular format. That part we will see in any other session, that is layout manager part. But here we are not considering any layout. That's why we have written here set layout null. Null means nothing. Here we are not considering any layout. As per our need we will put all the objects. Okay, whenever you are not considering, it is compulsory that you have to just mention there what are the bounds of that object. Bounds means just location we can set there. Then height we can mention, width we can mention. Okay. Now the next point is here, see, I have written like public class AWT app extends frame. Frame means here we are just creating one graphical user interface. Implements action listener. This is very much important part here. See, what is this implements keyword? When we use implements keyword? Yes. Whenever you want to implement any interface inside any class, means suppose any class is implementing any interface, means whatever methods written inside that interface, those are all abstract methods, and those abstract methods we have to just write inside that class, means implement in that class. See here I have written like implements action listener. Now what is this action listener? Action listener is a built-in interface. See, whatever event handling, there is a event delegation model concept is there. Okay, event delegation model means suppose you are clicking on any button, then event will be raised. Okay, event will be raised and one object, event object will be thrown. Okay, see, suppose I am clicking on this submit button, what will happen? This event should be listened by someone, and that is nothing but a listener. Okay, see, listener is always just watching that, means where there is any event occurring. Okay, whenever we are clicking on any button, then action listener is watching buttons on that frame. Buttons, but for button there is action listener. Suppose you are clicking here by mouse. Okay, then there is a mouse listener. Okay, that is always watching that is there any mouse event occurring. If occurred, then At that moment it will just go there wherever that is implemented. Okay, see, just conceptually try to understand. Whenever we are clicking on any button, at that moment the action listener will check that. Always action listener is needed to handle event which is taking place on the button. Next, after recognizing that event, action listener will check whether there is a method which is for clicking on that button. Now there is a action perform method which is written inside that action listener interface that should be implemented inside our class which is implementing this action listener interface. Then that action perform method will be considered, that will be executed, and for that whatever object written from that event, that will be cached here inside this AE. AE is nothing but a object which is whatever object passed after clicking on that button, that will be cached here inside this AE argument. Getting? It is just like a method call. You are just calling a method action performed here whenever you are clicking on any button. Whenever you will click on button, event will be raised, that action event object will be passed, and that will be catched by this action performed method, and whatever action you have written here, that will be performed. Getting? Action is nothing but that there you have to write multiple instructions, those will get executed. Getting? This is all about event delegation model. Means event is raised, will pass one action event object. Here event is button click, that's why here action event object will be passed, that will be catched by the action performed method, but that action performed method is written inside this action listener interface, and that we have to just implement here in this class, because this class is implementing this action listener interface, and whatever code written here, that will be executed after clicking on that button. Getting? This is all about event delegation model, how it works, event handling. Okay, now next, if you want to take any input from user, always consider text field. If you want to just display something to the user, then always consider label. If you want to just do any action according to the click, then always consider button. Okay, if you want to take choice from user, then always consider choice as a component. Okay, then you have to create object of that choice. Getting? Just you have to try all the components. Here I have considered only text field, labels, button. That's it. Now see, I have placed multiple labels like first name, last name, then text fields we have placed, and we have just set bounds for all those. Here inside set bound, first two are x and y coordinate, and then width and then height. This is for set bounds. Whenever you are just setting layout to null, then compulsion is that you have to set bounds. That's it. This is the set bound method which is for all components. All components, whether it may be label, whether it may be text box, whether it may be button, for all we have to set bounds. Now see, here we have written code for creating labels, creating text fields, creating button, and all objects bounds we have set, and according to that we have added all those objects onto the frame, and for that we have to write just add fname, add lname, whatever objects created, fname, lname, fn, ln, b, all we have put on this frame. Getting? Now the next point, we have set size of frame using this set size, we have just set layout using set layout, and we have just set visible equal to true. It is always compulsory because initially frame is always invisible. We have to compulsory use this set visible method for showing the frame. It is compulsory. Now the next point is here, now you know whenever we will click on this submit button, action perform method will be executed. How to write that action performed? Public void action performed, that it is having object of action event. Suppose you are just considering here mouse event, then here you have to write mouse listener, then here you have to write, there are multiple events about mouse. See, mouse clicked, mouse exited, mouse entered, means you are just mouse moving. If you are just moving that mouse, then those events also there, like mouse exited, mouse entered, mouse clicked. If you are considering mouse, then all the methods you have to compulsory write here, whether you want to do any action for that event or not. Then also you have to write all the events. See, we know that whenever we are implementing any interface inside any class, then there is a compulsion that we have to write code for all the methods written inside that interface. Here there is again compulsion. This action listener is having internally only one method, that is action performed. That's why no problem. But suppose you are handling mouse event, then mouse listener is having multiple events in that. There are 5 methods inside mouse listener. All those methods you have to compulsory write here. Bodiless method also you can write, only open close brace if you don't want to do any action for that. Okay, but it is compulsory. Okay, now here I have written just action performed. Then here see what I have written, MSG. MSG is a label. Okay, this MSG is a label which is invisible currently, because why invisible? We have not set text while creation of that MSG label. See, here we have created MSG equal to new label, and here I have not passed anything. Not passed anything means here that is just a blank label. Okay, now MSG dot set text, we already seen yesterday the method set text get text. Set text get text is for label. Now here MSG dot set text hello plus I have written, means this is for concatenation only. Now here see, this one is fn. Now here you have to write like this one is a fn dot get text. Get text will return the text which is entered by user. Now after clicking on submit, just it will display like hello and whatever first name entered inside this fn text field. That's it. Only this code I have written inside action performed. Now what is this? See, always execution starts at main. We have to write public static void main, and here only we will create object of this class. That's it. Now automatically everything will work. Okay, getting any doubts? Now only the last point is here. See, add window listener. What is this add window listener? See, that frame is nothing but a window. It is having close, minimize, maximize. Suppose you have not written this code, and if you try to just close that window, it will not get closed. Okay, whenever you will close, you will click on close, it will not get close, it will not do any action after clicking on closing. See, window listener is there. That window listener is having multiple events like window closing, window closed, window opened, like this, window opening, like this. Open means after opening. Opening means at the time of opening. Like this, multiple window actions are there, window events are there. From that, whenever we are just trying to close window, then what should be done? That event is nothing but like window closing event. Window closing event. Here see, I want that after clicking on close button, I want that the system.exit should be called, means that application should be stopped, execution should be stopped. For execution stop, we have to call system.exit. Now see how I have written here, this dot add window listener. See, one more point is remaining here which is very much important. Whenever you create any button object, if you want that button click should be executed, for that you have to write this statement. It is always compulsory. B dot add action listener this. It is always compulsory. What is this? Is nothing but object of this frame. It will just consider itself. Okay, now see here, B is a name of that button object. B dot add action listener. After add action listener, only that listener will consider that object for listening the event. It is always compulsory. This statement is very much important, then only it will get executed. Okay, now in the same way we have to add window listener, but this is for that window. That's why I have written this dot. Okay, this means this frame is nothing but this class. Okay, this dot add window listener. Here I am adding window listener. Now see, always compulsory keep in mind, whenever you are adding window listener, then for that you have to pass one object of adapter class. There are multiple adapter classes. Now what is that? See, I have written action listener. In the same way, there is a window listener. See, here you have to write again implements window listener. See, because I want to just handle event for that window. Here I have written implement action listener for handling event of button. Suppose you want to handle event about that window, then again you have to write here comma implements window listener. It is compulsory. See, here I have written implements action listener. That's why I have written this method, action performed. It is compulsory. There is only one method, no matter. But suppose I have written here implements window listener. There are multiple methods for that window listener. Those all methods, there is a compulsion that you have to write here code for all those methods, like window closing, window opening, window closed, opened. There is again multiple methods are there. I am not discussing all the methods here. Instead of implementing that interface, you can just create object of adapter class for that window, and that object you can pass for this listener while calling this add window listener. That object we have to pass. See, what is adapter class concept? Adapter class means, suppose you are implementing this action listener, there is one adapter class that is internally implementing this action listener interface. That class is already present. Okay, suppose you don't want to implement all the methods inside that interface, then there is one option that you can just pass here object of that window adapter class. Okay, there are multiple adapters. That adapter class is internally having all the methods implemented. Now from that, if you want to override any method, then that override method you can do here itself. Okay, see what I have written here. This dot add window listener, compulsory I want to handle window event, window closing. That's why I have written here this dot add window listener. Then what is this? New window adapter. New, when we use new to create object. Yes. But window adapter is a inbuilt class. Okay, here it is not like that. We are creating object of inbuilt class. Here we are just creating object of a class which is derived from window adapter. Compulsory, remember, here we are not giving name of that class. All those methods whatever present in that window adapter class, all are bodiless method. Okay, means suppose we are just extending that window adapter class. This is like we are extending that window adapter class. Whenever you are extending that window adapter class, then there is no compulsion that you have to override all the methods. Whatever you need, those methods only you can override. Now here we are creating one object of not window adapter class. We are just creating object of a class which is extending this window adapter class. Getting? And inside that we are writing one method. This is only one statement. This is only one statement. See what I am doing here. Instead of this, what I can do? See, I can write here one class, let xyz extends window adapter. Window adapter is a inbuilt class which is implementing window listener. Getting? Now internally it is having all the methods defined. Now we are extending that class, then here there is no any compulsion that you have to write all the methods. Here you can write the methods that only you want to execute. Now here I want to execute that method like see window closing. Now here I will write that say all public void window closing window event we. This is the argument. System.exit 0. Here I will write all the code. Okay, now I will pass object of this xyz here. Getting? That is allowed. Now, but I don't want to do this thing. Then there is one option that you can create here object of that base. Means here we can mention, we will mention only that we are creating object of window adapter, but here actually we are creating object of class which is not having any name, but it is derived from window adapter. And now this window adapter is having internally this window closing method that we are overriding here. Getting that we are overriding. Now here there is no compulsion that you have to write all the methods. Here I am writing only one method that I want. Okay. Now see window adapter, and here public void window closing. At that, whenever user will try to close that window, then what action should be performed, that you can write inside window closing method. Now see, window closing method is always having window event object. Simple. Here whenever you will click on button, action performed method will be called, and it is always taking one object of action event. In the same way, window closing is taking window event object. After user will try to close that button, that window event object will be passed, that will be cached here inside this window closing method, and it will do whatever action. Here I have written only system.exit 0. Means you have to just put this code always if you want that window should be closed. Getting? This is nothing but adapter class concept. Actually this window adapter is a inbuilt class which is again present in this java.awt.event. Okay, package. Those classes are already implementing all the interfaces related with those events. Okay, and those are having just methods, bodiless methods. Okay, whatever methods you want to execute, those methods only you can execute. Execute means rewrite, overwrite. Here see, we are just creating a class which is extending window adapter, but it is not having any name. These type of classes are called as anonymous classes. Anonymous means having no any name. Getting? This is adapter class concept. Means there are multiple adapter classes present as per the events. All listeners are having their specific adapter classes, and those adapter classes are implementing those interfaces, and all are having methods already written inside that. If you have derived that class, then just write whatever methods you want only. But if you are implementing an interface, then you have to write all the methods here. It is compulsory. Getting? This is just a event handling in AWT.